It's my pleasure today to introduce to you Shaina Rainford, who is a nurse practitioner turned CEO and founder, and she's going to have a chat with Brandon Luft, CEO of Shipfusion.
Once upon a time, I went to law school and was a lawyer. Lasted about a year, not too long, and realized it wasn't a fit for me. So I made the natural progression to join a startup e-commerce textbook rental company that employed about 3 people at the time, much to the disappointment of my mother. But made that move. That was about 2011. We ran the e-commerce brand for a couple of years. And at one point, we were looking for a 3PL logistics company to take on our fulfillment. So we started interviewing the 3PL industry. We found the technology was too old, the people were too old, the warehouses were too old, and we just noticed this huge gap in the market. So a couple months later, we decided we're going to take our shot in this business. And my co-founder, Michael Stock, is a software engineer. So we really decided we're going to build our own piece of technology, we're going to open our own warehouses, and we're going to build what we felt was a service that would resonate with these new e-commerce companies that were growing. And we set out to do that, and the first couple of years were tough, very raw, like in a warehouse till 2 in the morning, picking orders, Mike is coding, we're trying to figure out how to do this more efficiently. It was a lot of fun looking back on it, but as someone who went to law school, it was a bit of an adjustment. But really, that was where we learned, and got our best experience. And the last 11 years has really just been an evolution of that dynamic. Fast forward to today, we are renting over 1 million square feet of warehouse space across Las Vegas, Chicago, Pennsylvania, Toronto, hopefully Texas soon. And we've serviced hundreds of e-commerce brands. We've shipped over 10 million e-commerce orders. So it's been a really fun journey. A couple of the things I'm most proud of on this journey is, number one, that I'm not a lawyer today. And number two, it's been the joy and experience of working with incredible e-commerce entrepreneurs. And really at the top of my list, one of the best stories I've seen in this past decade, has been Bask Lather. You guys came to us a couple of years ago. We've seen unbelievable growth. Having the chance to meet your bigger team today, the energy, the momentum, just incredible. So it's an honor to be sharing the stage with you, and really appreciate you taking time for this discussion. So let's get into it. So Shaina, tell us a little bit about yourself. What were you up to before Bask Lather, and where did this idea come from? And just give us a sense of what those early days were like.
Yes. So hi everyone, my name is Shaina. I am the founder and CEO of Bask Lather Co. And we are a hair care company that is catered towards helping men, women, and children all over the world grow and keep hair that they love. And prior to starting Bask Lather, I was working as a board-certified nurse practitioner. My specialty was gastroenterology and hepatology. And during the pandemic, that wasn't an urgent need, right? So I got deployed to work at my local hospital and help out the internists there during COVID. And I acquired COVID, and I became very, very sick, to the point that I was in the back of a non-rebreather. I was on the back of an ambulance on a non-rebreather mask, begging God to let me live to raise my children. And I recovered, and then a few weeks later, my hair texture changed, and my hair started to shed and break. And I was devastated. And for someone that was literally just in the back of an ambulance begging to live, my hair should have been the least of my worries, right? But it was very hurtful and embarrassing. And I said, okay, I tried these different emergency treatments and nothing was helping. But a few years prior to this, my younger sister, Aaliyah, lost all of her hair. She had a ringworm that was misdiagnosed. By the time it got properly treated, the infection was so invasive that she was completely bald. She had no hair in her head. And my mom got really desperate to regrow her hair because she was so young, she couldn't just go get a pharmaceutical to use on her hair. Those are also lifelong treatments. Did some research, she found natural ingredients that help with hair growth, and she whipped up a concoction, which is now her scalp stimulator hair growth oil. It's the #1 bestseller. And I was like, Mom, can you please make me some oil? Like, I don't know what's going on with my hair. I started using the oils consistently, and my hair recovered. And I was like, this is crazy, right? Like I said, my hair texture reverted back to normal. My hair was growing back. It was healthy. And I said, we need to share these products with the world, because if I'm young, I was 27 at the time, and I'm losing my hair and I was literally heartbroken about it, imagine how many other people are suffering with the same types of issues. And that's what we did. We shared the products with the world.
Amazing. And obviously you had some early success, some early traction. At what point did you feel, this is really starting to take off? Like, what were the signs you were seeing that you're onto something here, that there's going to be a big market for this?
Yep, so October of 2020, I remember I started sharing my before and after photos of my hair growth and my sister's before and afters of her hair growth just on my personal Instagram. And people were like, what are you using? What are you using? I was like, oh, it's just some oils my mom makes. And people were like, I want some. So I bought bottles on Amazon. We started bottling them up, and people were like cash apping me like crazy. Don't tell the IRS. We were doing drop-offs, pickups, shipping things all over. The products didn't even have labels, but people didn't care. They just were amazed with the results. And then 2 months later, in December 2020, we said we made this a real business, did all of the things to make it a legitimate business, and we launched. And within the first 3 months of our launch, we went from $0 to 6 figures a month in revenue, to the point where it was costing me money to go to work as a nurse practitioner. So I quit.
Unbelievable. And then obviously the growth continued, and you guys did what, quote unquote, went viral. So we hear the idea of going viral. YouTube videos are funny, people pass them around, thousands or millions of people see it. But as a business, what did it kind of mean to hit that level, have all that attention on the business? Is it as good as it sounds? Does it come with mixed emotions? How did that kind of feel for you?
We're still on the wave right now, 4 years later. Our first 8 months in business, we ran Bask Lather from my living room and kitchen, and we became a 7-figure business in 8 months from my living room. Like, the trucks were backing up into the driveway. I know the neighbors were like, well, what are these people doing, right? And we are constantly going viral. Like, we have like 50 million organic views just on TikTok alone, just from our account. But we've had a sustained viralness, and it's a compounding effect, because not only do we go viral, we have good products that actually work. It comes with mixed emotions, right? You have to grow your team, you have to grow your fulfillment, you have to grow your manufacturing, you have to make products to sell them, right? So it comes along with the whirlwind of emotions, and the biggest thing is now structuring the team, structuring the manufacturing, and structuring the fulfillment to make it all work.
And one of the channels you've been very successful on has been TikTok, which was a relatively new way for an e-commerce company to grow. Tell us a little bit about what your expectations were with TikTok, what you guys did to get that kind of attention through it, and why you think you've had so much success through that channel.
Yeah, so during the pandemic, TikTok also became really, really popular because people were bored at home and had nothing better to do but to dance on TikTok. And it wasn't until 2023, it was 2023, summer 2023, TikTok Shop launched. And just a few months prior, I had hired my first social media manager, and we were trying to figure out TikTok, and it was just so different from Instagram, right? You don't get on TikTok and show before and afters. That's not what catches people's attention. So I remember my son, who's here, Jaden, saying, Ma, your social media manager sucks. I can do your social media. And I was like, you can't. You're a 14-year-old boy. You know nothing about hair or woman. And he said, it's not about hair or woman. It's about content strategy. So he took over our TikTok, and overnight, boom, 1 million views. Every day, back to back to back to back to back. We blossomed to the #1 brand. We were early adopters of TikTok Shop, and we just skyrocketed. To this day, we have the most sold hair growth oil. We have the #1 edge control on TikTok Shop and Amazon, and we have the #1 scalp and hair balm on TikTok Shop as well.
It's incredible. So when we started working with Bask Lather, they were already a really exciting company with really strong order volume. I think since you joined us, and this was only 2-3 years ago, you've grown almost 700%. So it's been amazing for us to be able to see that growth and be a part of it. You made the decision to switch to us at a certain point in your operations. Looking back at it now, what would your advice be to D2C brands in terms of how do you choose a fulfillment company? What kind of level of infrastructure do you need to look for depending on where you are? And ultimately, what are the most important aspects of making that decision?
Absolutely. So Labor Day 2023, I sat, and that's the year we also diversified our channels, right? So we went from just a Shopify brand to TikTok Shop. Amazon then reached out to us for us to join through one of their accelerators. And now it wasn't Bask Lather's rules, right? We had these marketplaces to answer to. You got to ship within 3 days. And it was Labor Day 2023. We had an amazing e-com sale on our Shopify site. Then TikTok had their sale. Then Amazon organic sales were booming. And we got so backed up on orders that I sat in my conference room and I just cried. And it was just super stressful. We had a nice 8,000 square foot facility. We just could not keep up with the demand. And we were backed up on orders for about 5 or 6 weeks. And I remember saying, this will never happen again. And right away, after we cleared those piles and piles of orders, I began to look for fulfillment partners. And I interviewed all of the big dogs and even some that had robots. And the thing that really stood out to me about Shipfusion, right, because we can get down to dollar for dollar, right? But the thing that stood out to me is that even back then when we were just shipping 10,000 orders a month, we were a priority to them. And we felt that they valued our business. And with any partner, it shouldn't be transactional. So that was the thing that really stood out to me most. I went and I visited. They had great food, which is also, if you want a business for Bask Lather, get us food. But it was great. They really valued us then, and now we're shipping nearly 100,000 orders a month, and we get the same level of respect and care.
That's great to hear. And if it makes you feel any better, I've cried many, many times about my business. I mean, I've got some other things going on, but that's a great story. And obviously, TikTok's been a great channel for you. I know you guys are doing a lot on Amazon now, and obviously you have this massive organic following. So if you were giving advice to a growing D2C brand about how to think about omnichannel, is it get on any channel you can as quickly as possible and just hope orders come? Is it more organic or is it more strategic? How would you kind of advise them?
So I like to say that I'm strategic, but I'm also not. I usually go with what works and repeat it. I'm not trying to constantly recreate things. I look for what's already working and how I can expand that. I would say now, being omnichannel is not an option anymore, right? You can't just be a Shopify brand. You have to be present everywhere. Even with marketing, right? It's not just Meta. There's a million other ways of advertising. So I would definitely say you want to find what works. We find what works organically everywhere, then we support that with paid, and then we continue to expand our organic presence first on every platform, and then again support it with paid, and that's just the methodology that we repeat over and over and over again. Right.
And speaking of omnichannel, one thing that we've seen with a lot of our clients over the years is when's the right time to get into retail fulfillment. Mm-hmm. It's obviously very enticing, big stores, they do huge POs, it's a ton of revenue. It's hard not to go after it. At the same time, there's challenges along with inventory and keeping up with those levels, fulfilling POs. So how have you thought historically about retail? Is that something you want to get into when the time is right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So our second year in business, retailer, a big distributor reached out to us and he said, I want you to come to Charlotte, I want to have a meeting with you. And I was all excited and I was like, oh, they sell to Target and they sell to all these stores. And when I got there, he said, are you profitable online? And I said, yes. He said, well, the big box stores are reaching out asking if we distribute your products, and I'm going to tell you don't do it. Not right now. He said, if you're profitable online, grow and scale online, and then look at retail. And even now, right, we can sell a $20 product very easily, great profit margin for us and the retailers, but we still have more room to grow and scale online. And when we do go into retail, it's going to be on our terms.
As you guys have grown so quickly and just, having a quick chat with your team before this, inventory is obviously always a difficult thing for brands to manage. Everyone wants to talk about the best product and the best videos and the best marketing, but inventory is a reality that can really limit your growth if you're not on top of it. You guys are going through some of those growing pains today. It seems like you guys are making great, quick decisions to expand that. What would your advice be to a young entrepreneur about how to think about inventory, how to think about manufacturers? How do you kind of get ahead of that?
Never have all of your eggs in one basket, right? So if you have a great manufacturer, great, go find 2 or 3 other ones. So for us, we own all of our formulas. And you should be getting a great manufacturer and then getting another one, getting approved benchmark samples from them. Same thing when we were looking for fulfillment partners. I didn't want a great fulfillment partner that just had one warehouse, right? So some of our upcoming plans include spreading to all of Shipfusion's warehouses. At least we know it's there when we need it.
Great. You know, as an entrepreneur myself, it's been the business is a journey. On a personal level, it's a huge journey. And you have, 3 beautiful children and, a whole personal life at the same time. The business demands so much of you. What has the personal journey been like? How do you kind of take stock of where you guys are at? Are you guys just, riding high and trying not to think about it? What's it kind of been on a personal level going through this the last couple of years?
We don't have time to think about it.
We only have 4 minutes, by the way.
I have a 17-year-old, my son Jaden, who's our head of growth. He's here. And I have a 7-year-old, and I have a 3-month-old, and I have 1 day of maternity leave because if we don't ride with the wave and everything that's happening right now, someone else would love our customers, right? We don't really have time to think about it. I have an amazing team here, my director of operations, my executive assistant. They keep me laughing and giggling from morning to night. It just, when you love what you do, it's not really work. And honestly, we don't have time to think about it. Like, we got to think about what's going to happen in the next 2 minutes, and we just keep going and going and going.
Absolutely. Okay, Shaina, final question. You guys are on a crazy roller coaster right now, tons of momentum. It's a really exciting time. What do you envision happening over the next 3 to 5 years? What are your hopes and dreams for Bask Lather?
Yes, so Bask Lather is going to be a global powerhouse, global amazing beauty brand conglomerate, and take over the world, maybe acquire some other brands. And we're literally just getting started. So definitely retail expansion into different markets. UK and Canada are our top 2 and 3 markets. Shipfusion's already in Canada, right? It's there when we need it. We're just going to continue to expand. We have great products, great fulfillment, and great manufacturing to support that. We'll just be on the upward trend ongoing.
Amazing. Well, it's been an amazing story to watch. We're happy to be a part of it. Really appreciate you taking the time and sharing the stage with us today. And we're really excited to see how you guys continue to grow. It's really fun for us to have a front row seat to it. I find it inspiring. I love meeting your team. You guys have unbelievable energy. So, we're here to support you guys as you grow. And we just really appreciate the opportunity and the time you spent with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.